Hello, welcome to AnimatekaPRO Day 3. The main topic of today is use of VR in animation, design and art. The program was prepared in collaboration with Manu Weiss, XR creative director and curator from Switzerland. First, you will be hearing from 5 hand-picked individuals about how they got into VR, how it changed their creative process and affected their way of thinking. You will be hearing from Leena Jääskeläinen, animation director and media artist from Finland, Amaury Campion, motion designer and founder of Studio Geppetto from France, and Milivoje and Vilko Popovic, animation directors and producers from Croatia. After each presentation, a Q&A with the host Manu Weiss will follow. And the second slot is reserved for VR storyboarding demo, crafting a winter fairy tale in VR. It will be presented by Joe Daniels, animation director and head animator from USA. The presentation will follow with a short Q&A with Manu Weiss. And we are also inviting you to stay with us today and every day till Saturday, first at 5, and join us for the Q&As with the authors from European Young Talents competition, which will be hosted by Anna Sturm and Igor Prasel, and later on in the evening at 8 with Q&A with the authors from the main competition program, which will be hosted by Igor Prasel and Chris Robinson. For more festival events and film program, please visit our website.
Hello Animateka, I am Leena Jääskeläinen from Helsinki, Finland. I'm a media artist and an animation filmmaker, and I have tons of experience of working on the animation field, and in the recent years I've been moving to the direction of virtual reality, and my path and process is what I'm going to talk to you about today. It's very special for me to talk to you at Animateka, as I've had the pleasure of visiting your festival twice. First time was 2009, when there was a special program of Finnish animation, and I visited Ljubljana then with a group of Finnish filmmakers, and it was really lovely. And the second time was 2018, when my film Blue Sky on Mars was shown in the special program for documentary animation, and it was lovely again. So yes, I'm really happy to do this today, and thank you so much for asking me, Manu. So I've had a long career doing animation, and I began, of course, by studying animation. I studied at the famous Turku school, and that gave me a really solid foundation on animation, and I also made some great friends, with some of whom I still work together even today. And since studying, I've basically always had 2 goals. One is to make art, and the other one is to make a living. And I think it's about finding a balance, because if you do too much commissioned work, then you don't really have any time for art, and if you do only art, then it's really difficult to stay alive. So I think it's all about balance. I think commissioned work is really great for learning also. So it's not only about making a living, and it often gives you opportunities to push yourself. So that's always good, and you have to learn how to negotiate, which is difficult, of course. I have made a number of short films, and what I really enjoy doing them is trying something new. I like trying new techniques and new things, and I always try to find something new to say. Trying something new is what keeps things interesting. And other than that, I like people. I like working with people, and I like people's stories. I guess I am quite curious as a person, and that drives me into the direction of documentary. Along with short films, I have also made a 26-episode children's TV series called Boris the Rat Mends His Ways. It's about the lifelong friendship between a Baltic herring and a rat. And it's quite anarchistic and has quite a strange sense of humor. And I sometimes wonder how it was even possible to pull that through, as it's quite far from mainstream. And I did that together with Kaisa Penttilä. She's great to work with, and she has a fantastic sense of humor, and she understands the meaning of breakfast. We studied together, and we still work together. And so, of course, my short films always were artistic, but in the recent years I have been moving more into the direction of something that you could call gallery type of art, like installations and such. I began to be interested in non-linear ways of storytelling. I did some experiments with loops, and I was thinking about, like, okay, how could there be a story, as I'm interested in stories? How could there be a story without a beginning, a middle part, and an end? And around the same time, I got to try on a virtual reality headset for the first time, and of course it was really impressive. And my instant reaction was, I want to use this to create art. And I'm not a gamer, so of course art was was the first thing that I was thinking about, and I was thinking about, like, okay, what is virtual reality? And I think in essential it is a place. And okay, it's a place, it's an environment, so what do I want to be there? What can it be like? What's going on there? And I was thinking that, okay, I want it to be space, and I want there to be floating cocoon-like strange objects, and of course there has to be a human element. So I want to record people's stories of their body image and attach it to these cocoons. And this led to my artwork called Out of Body Experience, and it was shown to public in 2018 at an art show called Kotka Art. And of course, like, I'm making this process sound a lot more straightforward than it actually was. Of course, like, there was no way I could do something like that myself. Of course, I needed a team, and of course, I needed to pay them at least something. But somehow, miraculously, well, I mean, it took a lot of negotiating. I managed to pull that through, and the artwork was there. It was in an art show, and people liked it, and it was the first experience of virtual reality for a lot of people who went to this art show. And of course I was, like, really happy and really proud of it. And then of course I wanted to continue working with these themes, and to expand this idea of having strange alien environments with people's stories and strange objects. And that became, like, my artwork, like a trilogy called Paranormal Phenomena. So, Paranormal Phenomena is a trilogy. It has 3 virtual environments. And the first part that I did earlier, and I, of course, later made some adjustments to it, of course. And that was called Out of Body Experience. And the second part was called Spontaneous Combustion, and that is about strong emotions. And the third part is called Mind Over Matter, and that's about extreme experiences. And I interviewed 13 people for this artwork, and this time there was quite a bit more work to be done, and so of course I needed to fund it somehow because I needed a team, but I managed to pull it through again, and I had an actual deadline because I had a gallery space in a quite prestigious media art gallery in Helsinki, but I had good luck with it because I managed to find a brilliant intern, and he turned out to be so good that I could let him handle a lot of the work, like the coding and animating and everything. And at the last minute, I was able to even get the funding, so I could pay him, which of course made him really happy. And oh yes, of course, because this was an installation, so it had to be set up nicely in the gallery, and the gallery space was basically like a huge cube. It was like 100 square meters, and it had like the roof was like, the ceiling was like 5 meters high. So something needed to be done about the space so that it would be good to show this trilogy. And luckily I managed to find a friend who created, like, she actually welded it to me, like this beautiful steel frame to divide the space into 4 sections. And I had 3 sets of Oculus Quests there and 1 HTC Vive. And so everything was ready and everything was great, and we had a big opening and everyone was impressed, and I had such high hopes. And this was at the end of February 2020, and of course we had to shut everything down in 2 weeks because of obvious reasons. With projects, it often happens that one project will lead to another project, and that's exactly what happened with Paranormal Phenomena. It led to another project called Making Art in My Dreams. At the final stages of Paranormal Phenomena, I kept having weird, stressful dreams like every night as things got pretty tight with that project. And so I kept seeing dreams of piles of broken VR glasses and setting up the exhibition in an old abandoned warehouse, or even being naked in the gallery, a classic like that. And that made me think that there is no way I'm the only one who has it like that. There has to be other artists who also have dreams about their work. And it turned out that I'm not. I began to interview people, and I soon found out that it's quite common. And what surprised me a little was that I found out that some artists use their dreams as part of their creativity. They base a lot of what they do on their dreams. I thought it would be really awesome to see that process and to show that process to other people also. Of course, virtual reality is the ideal medium for a project like that. I'll show you at this point a little teaser trailer of this project. Why do we dream? Dreams are chaotic, out of our control. But if we can figure out how to use them, great things can happen.
But usually I see some themes and I hear sounds in my dreams and I incorporate them into my own works.
I keep a dream diary. It's the first thing I do when I wake up, and I notice that the more I dream journal, the better I get at my writing, so it really helps my artistry.
Like I would go to sleep, I'd see a picture, I'd get up the next day, I'd draw it or paint, and I'd go to sleep again. I'd see another picture and it would go on for months.
These people have found a shortcut to creativity, going into their dreams and coming back with art. With virtual reality, we are going to follow them in to see if we can do the same.
Must have been quite a weird dream.
There. I participated in the famous Anidocs lab with this project, and it was fun and it was really useful, and it really helped me to develop my thinking of this project a little bit further. And I've received a little bit of money for the writing of this project, and now I'll need to get the rest of the budget. And I've been writing a ton of applications, and it's a good thing I have a producer who's helping with this, but it's still a lot of work to me, and that feels quite exhausting, to be honest. I would love to win a lottery so I could just do the work without worrying about the budget. But there is going to be a lot of work that needs to be done, so of course I have like a whole team. And so far I have talked with 2 animators, and I have been talking with 2 game developers or coders, and of course I have the same sound designer as I always have, and the producer, and probably I will be needing some other people as well, as it might turn out to be quite a lot of work. In addition to interviewing, I'm also collaborating creatively with each of the participating artists. So far I have confirmed 3, the ones you saw in the teaser trailer, and I'm currently thinking about like adding maybe 2 or 1 from more bodily art forms, like maybe dance or theater or something like that, or I don't know, ice skating. And I think it's really interesting to work with other artists in a project like this, and even if all of them aren't visual artists, they still have interesting ideas about how it should look and what the interactivity could be, how it could function. And each of the participating artists will have their own virtual environment which will reflect their dreams and their personality and their artistic work. And I also want to show a glimpse of them like doing their actual work, and technically that is still something that I will figure out, like a lot of things, but I'm also quite confident that I am able to pull this through like once again. Well, essentially making art in my dreams is a documentary project, so would it be possible to realize it as a more traditional, even though animated documentary? Yes, of course it would be. But I think the possibilities in virtual reality are just, so much more interesting, and I'm really interested in the non-linear way of storytelling, because of course I want there to be stories, because that's something that's interesting for me, and I wanted to have like human content because people are what interests me also. And yes, a lot of those qualities could be realized in a beautiful way, of course, as a traditional documentary, like flat screen and beginning, middle part and end. And there is nothing wrong with traditional storytelling, there's nothing wrong with traditional cinema, but that's with this project I think I can create the dreamlike qualities better in virtual reality. At the end of the day, what I want to create is the feeling of being inside someone else's dream, and that's what virtual reality is all about. That's what virtual reality is perfect for. So I'm really inspired by all the possibilities in virtual reality, but have I stopped working on more traditional films? No, I haven't. Actually, I have a feature film in development together with my friend Kaisa Penttilä, who I have mentioned earlier also. And we are in the development stages of a feature film called Bear Park. And it's a little bit like Rocky, but it's funny and it's for children. And it's about skiing and cheating and parents' marital problems and a friendship between a boy and a bear. And it's going to take a while, but I think it's going to be super awesome. So, as a little summary, I would like to say that it's not so different to work on a virtual reality project than it is working on a film project. I think maybe wisest thing that you could do would be to choose your medium according to your idea. Like, if your idea is going to be a film, then it's going to be a film, and if it's going to be a virtual reality project, it's going to be a virtual reality project. And if it's going to be, I don't know, a book or a sculpture, then that's what it's going to be. So it's all about ideas and all about your artistic vision. So I have talked the whole day. Do you have any questions for me? I'd be happy to answer.
So welcome to AnimatekaPRO. My name is Manu Weiss and I will be hosting the Q&A sessions today. And our first guest is Leena. You're currently in Finland, is that correct?
Yes. So hello from Finland.
So I really like that you took us on a little stroll through Finland, I guess. I mean, it's kind of a nice ad because like we're nowadays, everyone is kind of glued to the computer. So that was kind of a nice little outbreak, I would say. So I have like a few questions for you. You mentioned your first VR experience. What was your first VR experience? Because I still remember mine because it kind of changed me forever. I mean, it was the cheapest experience you could ever imagine. But I mean, what was yours? I'm always curious to know.
It's actually like a funny thing because there was this animators association wanted to have like a course of like to teach for animators, like a small course of virtual reality and 3D animation. And of course, like I signed up because of course sounded like fun. And then in the first lesson, I got to try on a headset. And of course, like, because I thought that you can't wear your glasses with it. And so I took my glasses out and then I was in another space and I could not really quite see what was there because I'm like really short-sighted.
Yeah.
And so, but it was like a landscape, and then there was a game that I was supposed to be doing something, but I couldn't figure out the controls, but I think it was just nice to look around. And so that's why maybe I got this idea that it needs to be a place, because I basically couldn't do anything else than just to, this blurred vision of
That's
everything.
what I wanted to say, a blurry experience.
Yeah, but it was really sort of impressive anyway.
But that's very cool that that your first experience was already something so tangible, like that you could really like build upon it, because my experience was a roller coaster. So it's like it was very cheap. So it's still like I saw the potential in it, and I never wanted to do anything else after that. And so I can really relate to what VR or the first VR experience can do to people.
Yeah.
So my next question is, I wrote them down, so sometimes maybe I have to read. Exactly. So you referenced VR as a place. How has the pandemic affected your way of using VR, if at all? You know, I mean, like, you know, because we're all online these days, and like using like VR for social purposes or something like that. Because maybe I just add like a little detail that we actually met like a few years ago at Animateka, and then we re-met again, but online, like by chance, doing like a VR multiplayer drawing session online. So how was that for you? I mean, how has the pandemic or like being stuck at home changed your way of using VR, if at all?
It has not really changed my way of using VR, because like with you, it was like people from another country. So I don't think even regardless of the pandemic, we could not have done like a small thingy like that without VR, but I really enjoy the social with VR and the multiplayer. It's so much fun to do stuff together. And it's like, well, in Masterpiece VR, you don't have the undo, which is slightly unnerving, but like I think multiplayer is really great in Gravity Sketch. So something like that, I think I should do a lot more, because it's just so much fun and it's so nice to actually, you know, create something with someone. So I think, I really enjoy the social side of things, and it really helps with the pandemic. Actually, like that you're not able to travel, but you can see a friend
Exactly.
online and do some stuff together.
Yeah, I know like that in Finland there is some kind of a digital twin of Helsinki that you can go and visit, as I know, like an official thing, and also that I think like the country invited the whole population to attend like a virtual music event for the May Day. Do you know something about it? Did you attend or?
No, I didn't.
I was just wondering, you know, like how society is actually perceiving this virtual thing, and if you have like felt like that they use VR more, or they think, oh, now I have to buy like a VR headset or join the fun, or
I think like Finland in general is a country of high technology, and I mean we love technology, but I think more sort of new thing is that I've been seeing they have been like online platforms or whatever, like streaming and stuff like that. Like a lot of musicians or comedians or whatever, they stream stuff. So I have not seen that much in VR, probably because it's still a little bit expensive and a little bit clumsy also. So but I think like when it becomes sort of more, I don't know, maybe more convenient or more sort of, well, I mean lighter, you know, because the headset is quite heavy, like on my frail neck, you know. And so, I mean, it will be more used after like a couple of changes or developments in the future.
Yeah. Okay, cool. We almost are over with the 10 minutes, and I think I have one last question for you. And you mentioned in your presentation that you probably need additional help for your current project, making art in your dreams. What kind of skills are you looking for, and if people can join, where do they contact you and how?
Okay, that's an excellent question.
I mean,
I think I will do, because of course that project is massive. So I think like maybe the old-fashioned email would be like the nicest, or like some various social media thingies. But I think like maybe email, and then I can check out some stuff. But of course, like I don't have the funding yet. You know, I need all those euros. But of course, like I'm really happy to hear from people, and so like email like Leena at animatekapro.fi which doesn't make much sense. But you can like Google me, and then you will probably find some information. But of course, yeah, and because like I can collaborate with people from anywhere, I think it's most important is to have like this kind of connection, so that yeah.
Okay, so I just saw that we have like a question in the chat. I mean, probably I will take this question before we wrap it up. Wait a second, we have a few. Piotr, I'm sorry if I butchered your name. What will be the documentary reference in your VR besides the relating to dreams of specific people? That's what he's asking.
Okay, well, of course it's quite experimental by nature, but there will be like and the collaboration, it will probably look slightly different depending on the person I'm working with, but it will be, I want to show also their work and how they think and what they are like. So in a way it's going to be dreamlike, but it's still going to be real, if that makes any sense.
Okay, so I think one more question and then we have to say goodbye. So Amore is asking, hi Leena, is there any software you're most comfortable with? Because you seem to touch many different softwares and mixing them together.
Yes, that's what I do, and that's also what makes me like a beginner in all of them, because I just sort of dabble around and whatever, try different thingies and so on and so on. But this is like one of the reasons like why I want to work with people who actually know what they are doing. Like I've done bits and pieces of Unity, but because it's massive, so of course I need someone to actually know what they are doing to help me. And so yeah, but I just like trying out some new stuff, new software and whatever. So yeah.
That's perfect. I mean, that's how it should be. So collaborating, trying out stuff, and especially in VR, which is not like yet very established medium to use. So that's the best way to go to experiment and just try out things. So I guess we're at the end now. Thank you very much for joining us and giving us a little bit of your time. So I guess like enjoy the rest of the festival and see you around, I think. So bye-bye.
Bye, thank you.